Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron channel. I'm Steve Shaw. In this video, I'm going to talk about optimal. When optimal really isn't optimal. Before I get into that topic, if you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. The best topic ideas I turn into videos just like this. All right, optimal is a subject that is passed around a lot. I get a ton of questions about optimal workouts, optimal training programs, optimal exercises, optimal assistance exercises, so on and so forth. And one of the things I try to stress is that even though something is optimal, it may not be optimal. Now, what does this mean? It sounds really confusing. It sounds like I'm an idiot, but it does make sense if you think about it. When you look at the muscle building process or the strength building process, if you look at one single variable, there is probably going to be something that is optimal for that variable or more optimal for that variable. So what's an example? Well, let's look at muscle protein synthesis and training frequency. When we look at muscle protein synthesis and training frequency, we know that optimal is probably training more frequently, training 3 times a week. That appears to be most optimal for muscle protein synthesis, and therefore has been adopted by a vast majority of the lifting community as being the most important variable and all that really matters. Now, even though this is optimal, we have to understand it's only one variable. That's the problem with only looking at a single variable. When we attach this single variable and the optimization of this single variable as being the only variable, we're making a huge mistake. It is not the only variable, and that is the thing to keep in mind. When you look at muscle building, when you look at strength training, we must remind ourselves that it's an extremely complex process. It's an extremely complex formula. Not only do we have issues like muscle protein synthesis, we also have issues if you just boil it down to a simple set. There's a million ways to work a set. Somebody can go into the gym and do a shoulder workout for side lateral raises, 2 sets by 10 reps and not challenge themselves. Or they can go into the gym and do 5 sets of 10 for heavy overhead shoulder presses. There's a huge difference in intensity, not just weight, but also, just how intense the workout is, how challenging it is. There are so many variables when it comes to lifting. So many variables that we can't even possibly unlock the formula because there is no magic formula. So when we look at optimization, we have to realize that when we have one variable, like muscle protein synthesis, and we know what is optimal for that variable, we also have to analyze the other variables, and it might make it less optimal when you frame it around the other variables. Now, as if this isn't confusing enough, now we have things like drive. We have things like your head and your heart. Your head and your heart, like how bad do you want it? How hard are you attacking? These are things that can never really be measured by science, because you can put 2 guys in the room doing the same program, one that is driven like a madman, and one that really hasn't found their motivation yet, and they can get completely different results using optimal variables. So we have to factor that in as well. Now, I'm not making this video to discourage somebody from seeking out optimal. I'm not making this video to discourage somebody from discounting full body work or frequency training or anything like that. But I want to return lifting back to something more reasonable and logical. And that means that we must understand, and I want you guys to remember this, and I want you to spread it as the gospel of the big, hairy, ugly dude. We must understand that there are many variables when it comes to the muscle building process, many variables when it comes to strength building. And we can't elevate one variable as the only variable. And that's kind of the problem we have gotten into in the lifting world. We elevate this single variable, which is muscle protein synthesis and frequency training, as if it's the only variable, and nothing could be further from the truth. So therefore, optimal isn't necessarily optimal. So guys, hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. If you made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. I am in Fiona's sewing business, if you're wondering what I'm doing in here. So guys, as always, thanks for watching, and
stay super sexy.
Stay super sexy, people, because the fate of the world depends upon it. Will you say humongous for us? Show us your humongous biceps.
God, I was so jealous of
Wait, let's see that humongous That's kind of humongous.